a book update video. I've sort of fallen off of like the monthly videos for these, mainly because I've been so sort of busy with work that when I get home I'm just too tired to read, and that's primarily the main reason I've not been reading so much. So I wanted to share with you the books that I've read maybe over the past month and a half, and then some new books that I've picked up in the last couple of weeks. So let's start with the new books and then I'll go through the ones that I've already read. So the first one is one Darren actually picked up for me, and that is The Speakmans Conquering Anxiety. If you're not from the UK, you might not know who the Speakmans are. They are a couple who are very popular at sort of getting into your mind in a sense. I'm not quite sure what their specific title is, but they are often on like shows like This Morning, helping people with overcoming phobias and anxiety and things like that. So this is obviously their one on anxiety, so it'd be interesting to read about. I don't want to make this a whole anxiety video and I want to keep this quite short, but I'm at a stage where I'm fairly good with my anxiety. It doesn't affect me too much now day to day, and sometimes I feel like I can't necessarily listen to someone talk about like their feelings with anxiety or read about it, because I'm almost like I don't want to jump back into that realm and acknowledge it again, if you get what I mean. So I think I'll have to be in the right frame of mind for this one, but I will definitely try and read it and give you a review on it at some point. I then picked up 3 books very unexpectedly from Aldi. They had a ton of books for sale. You might still be able to catch them in your local Aldi, but these were the 3 that I picked up. The first one, and these are all like $2.99, but they had like children's books, they had some Disney books, so lots of different ages. They had, I think, like some darker like adult books, and then these are sort of like thriller books that I picked up. So the first one is The Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty. She is the sister to Leanne Moriarty, who wrote Big Little Lies. This one I've already read, loved it. I'll go more into it when I review the other books in a minute, but that was the first one, and like I said, all these are only $2.99. This is the one I'm currently reading. This is Daughter by Jane Shemilt, and this one is about a daughter that goes missing, and it follows primarily so far the mother in dealing with it and the events leading up to it, during her going missing, and then about like a year on. So I'm not very far in, I'm only 60 pages in, so I can't comment too much on it, but I am sort of in a slight reading slump, so I've definitely not been reading this as fast as I could have, because I've just like had either no time to read or I've been too tired to read. So that's the next one. And then the other one I got was After the Party by Lisa Jewell. I've seen some of her books around. I think I might have read a couple of her books. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what they're called. But this one, I'll just read you the back of the book. It says, 11 years ago, Jem and Ralph fell in love. They thought they had found their happy ending. Then 2 became 4 and a flat became a house. Romantic nights out became sleepless nights in, and they soon discovered that life wasn't quite so simple anymore. So it sounds like they had children. Now the unimaginable has happened. 2 people who are so right together are starting to drift apart. But as they try to find a way back to each other, back to what they once had, they both become dangerously distracted. Is it too late to recapture their happily ever after? So out of the 3 of them, this is probably the one that I'm least interested in. As you can see, I've not read it yet. This is probably also the biggest book out of the 3. So yeah, $2.99, I didn't think that was bad. Definitely had to pick them up. So I will go through the 3 books that I've sort of read recently and try and remember them and give you a review on them. So I'll start with the 2 that are slightly less familiar now, because I read them either a few weeks ago or quite a few weeks ago. Let me get my Goodreads page up for you and then I can see how I rated them. So this is Closed Casket by Sophie Helyn. She is the author carrying on the Agatha Christie Poirot series. So I was really interested going into this, wondering what it would be like. I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it. but for some reason, I'm not quite sure why I didn't rate it higher, if I'm honest. Let's see if I actually wrote any notes on it. I do remember it fairly well. I did enjoy the writing style. I don't think I can particularly compare her to Agatha Christie because obviously she's used the same characters of Poirot. I felt like there was a lot less Poirot in this book actually. There was more other characters, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It's about this lady who's planning a party. She has gathered all these people, including Poirot and this other sort of like detective, to her house, and she has announced at the dinner party that she is changing her will, and instead of leaving everything to her children, she's leaving it to her secretary, who only supposedly has weeks left to live from ongoing illness. And then it turns out this guy who she's left the money to dies, but because he's been murdered, and it all goes around with obviously trying to find out why he was killed or why she's suddenly changed her mind leaving him this money, and lots of other things intertwine into it. But yeah, good. I didn't really know what I was going into it thinking, so I didn't want to judge it, because obviously she had big footsteps to fill, or big boots to fill, shall we say. But I have got one of her other books, so I'll definitely give that a read. And I'm not saying it's a bad book at all, but it just wasn't the best like Poirot book I've ever read, so that was that one. The next book I read was The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. I've read 2 other of her books. Yeah, they're just up here. These are really pretty covers. If you can get your hands on these covers, they're super, super nice. They are quite large books, and it does take me a while to get through these, but I think they've got sort of, I wouldn't say unique, but I do like the way it's written. So let me read you the blurb. So it says, 1961, on a sweltering summer's day while her family picnics by the stream on their Suffolk farm, 16-year-old Laurel hides out in her childhood treehouse, dreaming of the bright future she can't wait to seize. But before the idyllic afternoon is over, Laurel will have witnessed a shocking crime that changes everything. And then it's got 2011. Now a much-loved actress, Laurel finds herself overwhelmed by shades of the past, haunted by memories and the mystery of what she saw that day. She returns to her family home and begins to piece together a secret history, a tale of 3 strangers from vastly different worlds, Dorothy, Vivian and Jimmy, who are brought together by chance in wartime London and whose lives become fiercely and fatefully intertwined. Shifting between the 1930s, the 1960s and the present day, The Secret Keeper is a spellbinding story of mysteries, secrets, murder and enduring love. So, the main character, there's a couple main characters, but the main one I would say is Laurel. And when she was a child, she witnessed her mum actually killing this guy, and at their childhood home, and it was always sort of slightly swept under the rug when she was a child, but obviously now she's older, she's wanting to sort of find out more. Her mother Dorothy is in present day, she is living in a care home. I think she's got Alzheimer's, if that's what I remember, and like she's nearing end of life, and so Laurel really wants to try and figure out as much as she can about this event that happened, and about also finding more out about her mother, and that's where this book fits in between. So it's got present day with Laurel as an adult and her mum in this care home, and then it goes back to when Laurel was a child and witnessing this event, and then it also goes back slightly further back to her mum named Dorothy, and it goes through her life growing up in London, in wartime London, and how she meets these other different characters, and it all unravels, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. There was definitely twists and turns throughout, especially at the end. I really did not see it coming, and it's one of those things that we can all relate to, that we don't know our parents before they had us, and it's like they've had a whole another different life, if you see what I mean. And in this book she's like trying to uncover those that part of her mum's life that she never knew about, because she wasn't born. So definitely enjoyed that. I believe I gave it 5 stars. Yes, I did. So that was good. Then I came on to another great book, which was The Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty. She is, I believe, the younger sister of Leanne Moriarty. There's actually 3 Moriarty sisters that all write books. But obviously her sister did Big Little Lies. So she had, again, from, obviously because I've already read Leanne's book, she had Big Boots to Fill, which is a shame because she's a writer in and of herself and they shouldn't be compared to each other. But this is, again, like another suspense thriller, and I loved it. So it's about these women who, you know, they've grown up, they've got married, but they've stayed friends ever since they were at school, and every year they go on a trip together. And this particular year on the trip, they decide to write letters, anonymous letters, and reveal their deepest, darkest secrets, shall we say. And so all these things come out about past events, and there obviously should only be 4 letters because there's only 4 friends, but it turns out that one of the girls wrote 2 letters and tried to discard one of them because she didn't want to reveal her actual secret. And so obviously this book follows these 5 letters, these 4 friends trying to unpick their secrets, and how they're now coming to terms with them, how their relationships have changed within the group, and obviously who wrote this 5th letter. So I really enjoyed this, gave it 5 stars, and again, I read this in like a couple of days. It's a really, really good summer read, I would say. So if you can find it, I picked this one actually up at my local Aldi for £2.99, can you believe? So would highly recommend this book. So that's all I've got at the moment. I am currently reading this one, which again was another Aldi purchase, which is Daughter by Jane Shemilt. And it's about a woman's daughter that goes missing. I'm only about 60 pages in, so again it's another sort of suspense thriller, and it jumps between times, like before her daughter went missing, the night her daughter went missing, and then like obviously the time after, and then like a year after. So I can't really go into too much, other than we know this woman's teenage daughter hasn't come home one evening. So that's where I'm at so far. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of like wrap up of what's been going on with my reading over the past couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get more into it, but I'm not sure how possible that will be. I find also the heat, I don't know why, I just get so tired lately as well coming home from work. So definitely gonna try and read some more, especially tomorrow, because I just want to like relax and have a couple like quiet weekends. So yes, let me know if you've got any good book recommendations. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!